Bienvenidos and welcome to another episode of Spain on a Fork. Today, once again, we're making a recipe from the beautiful country of Morocco. As you know, sits right below Spain, separated by just a sliver of the Mediterranean Sea. We're talking a Moroccan vegetable tagine. Let me tell you, this dish has layer upon layer of the most incredible flavors. The recipe is easy to make, where there's no tricky techniques or special equipment needed. And the best part, it's all done in about 40 minutes using just one pot. Folks, serve this dish next to a crunchy baguette and a bottle of Spanish red wine, more specifically from the region of Priorat, as their bowl wines really stand up to food like this. You're gonna have yourself a delicious meal. Really quick before we start, a shout out to a couple of my patrons, Phil Segarra, David Machado, Tommy Williams, Jim Schallert, and Barbara Eastman. And guys, thank you so much for being patrons of Spain on a Fork. You know how much I appreciate you. All right, let's just dive right into this. I'm gonna heat a stock pot with a medium heat and add in 3 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil, which is 45 milliliters. As always, important to use the good stuff here, as this is the base fat of the dish. Make sure you get the Spanish one I'm using in the description box below. While the oil is heating, I'm going to roughly chop 1 medium-sized onion, thinly slice 4 cloves of garlic, roughly chop 1 red bell pepper, and cut 2 carrots that have been peeled, each one to small bite-sized pieces. Then we'll add the chopped ingredients into the stock pot, and we'll mix them around. That way they're all coated in the olive oil. And since we cut the vegetables into larger pieces, you don't have to mix this around continuously, but do it every 1 to 2 minutes. That way everything evenly sautés. In the meantime, I'm going to cut 1 medium-sized potato that's been peeled, washed, and patted dry into small bite-sized pieces. Important to use a potato here that's a bit more waxy than starchy, as it holds the shape better when it's cooked. I'm using a Yukon Go potato, but you can also use new potatoes, Golden Delight, or even a red potato. And we'll also cut 1 medium-sized sweet potato that's been peeled into small bite-sized pieces. After sauteing the vegetables between 5 to 6 minutes and they're lightly sauteed, we'll add in the chopped potatoes and the chopped sweet potatoes. For the next ingredients, let's add in our spice mix, which is what gives this dish that punch of flavors. I'm going to start by adding 1 teaspoon of dried cilantro, which is a little over half a gram. This is also known as coriander. We'll also add in half a teaspoon of sweet smoked Spanish paprika, which is 1.25 grams. Half a teaspoon of ground cumin, which is 1.5 grams. Half a teaspoon of ground turmeric, which is also 1.5 grams. Half a teaspoon of ground ginger, which is 1 gram. Half a teaspoon of ground cinnamon, which is a little over 1 gram. And a 1/4 teaspoon of saffron threads, which is 0.17 grams. You can get the Spanish golden saffron I'm using in the description box below. And we'll give it a mix until it's well mixed together. And I tell you, by adding in the spices right now and lightly sauteing them, it's going to make them nice and fragrant, which at the end gives them a beautiful lift of flavors. Then we'll add in a 15-ounce can of diced tomatoes, which is 425 grams. And season everything with sea salt and freshly cracked black pepper. And then we'll turn it up to a high heat, give it a mix, and simmer it for a few minutes. While the canned tomatoes are simmering, let's get our final ingredients ready. I'm going to drain 1 can of chickpeas into a colander and rinse the chickpeas under some water. The size of the can that I'm using is 15.5 ounces, which is 440 grams. And we'll also roughly chop a 1/4 cup of dried apricots, which is 35 grams. You can also use dried dates here if you like. After simmering the canned tomatoes for about 5 minutes, you can see that juices have slightly reduced. We'll add in the rinsed chickpeas, along with the chopped apricots, and 3 cups of vegetable broth, which is 720 milliliters. You can also use chicken broth here, or even water if you like. Just make sure to season accordingly if you're using water. Either way, link on how to make my homemade veggie broth in the description box below. And we'll give it a mix and bring it to a boil. Once it comes to a boil, we'll place the lid on the stock pot and lower the fire to a low-medium heat. And we're going to simmer this for 15 to 20 minutes, or until those sweet potatoes and those potatoes are just cooked through. After about 15 to 20 minutes, we'll remove the lid. And at this point, those potatoes and sweet potatoes should be cooked through. You can always pierce them with a toothpick just to ensure that they're done. If you see that yours need more time, you simmer this for a bit longer and add in more liquid as needed. For the final step, I'm going to turn off the heat. Squeeze in 1 tablespoon of fresh lemon juice, which is 15 milliliters. And give it one final mix. Then we'll remove the stock pot from the stovetop. Transfer some of the mixture into a shallow bowl. And garnish with some chopped cilantro, which once again is known as coriander. Check it out, our Moroccan vegetable tagine is done. Easy to make, beautiful presentation, and all done in about 40 minutes using just 1 pot. Let's give this a try and see how it turned out. Once again, folks, Moroccan vegetable tagine, this smells absolutely incredible. Moment of truth, here we go. That is out of this world good. We're an explosion of flavors from that blend of spices. You have the chickpeas, the potatoes, and the sweet potatoes that add the heartiness, those vegetables, that lift of goodness. Easy to make, heart healthy, give this a try at home. Once again, next to a crunchy baguette and a bottle of Spanish red wine from the beautiful region of PESTLE, you can have yourself a fabulous meal. Enjoyed today's video, hit that like button, leave me a comment below, and if you're not subscribed, don't forget to smash that subscribe button and click on the bell icon. That way you can get notified every time I release new content and to become a part of the Spain on a Fork family. Till the next time, hasta luego.